Welcome back to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I'm Andy Kim, your Dr. Finance. In this video, we're going to talk about the vocal masculinity of the CEO and the risk of the firm. How is it related? And also, if time permits, we're going to move down to other alternative data that we can work on about the CEOs, right? Anyway, the vocal masculinity. Well, how is it related to the risk-taking behavior? We are talking about the vocal fold, right? In Korean terminology, it's called 성대. 성대. That gives me more reason that I have to do the research on this, right? Because we are 성대 anyway. The thing is, in your puberty days, like the teenage days, right? During your puberty, your testosterone explodes as guys, right? And then your vocal fold grows. And bigger vocal fold you get, the heavier it is to tremble. So you will be able to sound deeper and lower voice. Like that. Instead of higher voice, right? In your natural sounding voice, right? We call it pitch. The do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do kind of things, right? And there's a natural voice pitch that you sound in your everyday language, everyday words, right? We're talking about that pitch, okay? And it has to do with your testosterone level, at least in your teenage days, and which sustains throughout your life. And this part, testosterone drives your voice pitch, is fixed and confirmed by medical research already. There's no room for debate over there. It is there. Now, what people found out is this, right? Deep-voiced male CEOs. Males with lower voice pitch are deemed as healthier, better fighter, and better provider. Hey, better fighter. You want some? Punch. It's kind of more threatening, right? Anyway, and then more dominance and attractiveness is felt if they sound more deeper. And this is why, guys in their college days, I remember my friends, right? Before going to like dance club or whatever, they were trying to sound like, oh, do I sound sexy? Like, come on, sound your own voice. Come on. Doesn't matter. And then more trustworthy as political leaders. The thing is, we Koreans will have a presidential election coming up, okay, in March next year. Who will be the president? We don't know. But one of the things we can think about is trustworthiness in their vocal pitch, right? Voice pitch. And one experiment the researchers did is like this. They record the wording like this. In the US, they do election every November, my birthday, and then they say, I urge you to vote for me this November, versus, I urge you to vote for me this November. Which one do you believe, or does it feel more trustworthy and that you want to vote for? Okay, clearly, it's the latter one. The same person saying the same thing, but they mechanically lower down the pitch, so that they would sound lower, okay? And then what they found is this one, right? Lower pitched ones, they vote for it. The people will, And then this result is both for male and female candidate voice, okay? Not just male, but female candidate. Angela Merkel, right? Theresa May, and then Christian Lagarde, right? All these female leaders in the business, if you listen to their voices, they're sounding more lower pitch, right? And then also researchers found out it's especially more in wartime setting. More crisis, we need a stronger leader, right? So that's that, and then Banai, they find that the result is more for presidential election than for parliamentary election and for conservative candidates. So bigger position like presidential election kind of things. The voice pitch seemed to matter more. And then they found that especially more so for female evaluators, the ears, right? They're more, stimulated by this vocal stimuli like this. Anyway, so that's leadership characteristic, voice pitch, right? Matters in the voting result. And then deep voiced male CEOs, people already done research about it. Males with lower voice pitch are perceived as more promiscuous, and then more attractive for short-term relation than long-term relations. Okay, and then don't try to sound too attractive. Anyway, and then Mayu, Parsons, and Venkatachalam, right? 2013 paper, they find that CEOs with lower voice pitch manage larger firms, right? Right, and receive more compensation because the pay is a function of the company's size. Why do you want to go for Taegyeop or a bigger corporation like Samsung Electronics? Because they have deep pockets, deeper resources. They are able to pay a larger amount of money, right? That's why. Same thing for the CEO pay as well. And they have longer tenure, right? Longer period of working as a CEO. Like Korean CEOs tenure is like on average 3 years. Every year, 3 years, they have to be replaced, like bureaucrats. But in America, the tenure is not 3 years, but 8 years on average. 8 years to 7 years on average. Some CEOs work like 20 years. Like if you look at Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, right? And anyway, so lower voice pitch CEOs, indicating their male dominance at work in corporate setting. So this biological trait seem to go a long way, right? Seem to go a long way even in their professional work, right? Oh, isn't it our only rational decision making in the corporate decision? Get some work experience and you will realize. Internship, go ahead and get it. Yeah. Anyway, so my research idea in this research is this one. We look at the bankers' voice pitch, bank CEOs, right? CNBC interview they go through in every television, especially during the financial crisis of 2008. I measured those voice pitches, 20 seconds, right, in their talk, right, in the television media. The thing is, why do we care about it? Because the banking culture, right? Was it more masculinity driven before financial crisis? And then afterwards, was there some emasculation in banking industry? That was my original idea. Why? Because Christian Lagarde once said this one. If it was Lehman Sisters, we must have had a safer world, or we must have not had financial crisis in 2008. Because it is Lehman Brothers. It's more excessively risk-taking. Those masculinity-driven culture is something we have to eliminate, or how do you say, harness somehow better than this. Makes sense, right? Let's make it safer. So if you compare before versus after 2008 crisis, was it like this? Before it, more lower-pitched CEOs was dominating. Afterwards, they got kicked out and replaced by female CEOs or higher voice-pitched CEOs. That is our hypothesis, and we find a consistent result. Yes, they were. If you look at the movie Wall Street, which was in 1980s, right? Michael Douglas is over here. He stars as a fund manager or private equity fund manager who kicks out the existing management of a bad company, badly managed company, and then replaces with his own, friends, and then he's going to restructure the company, and then he tries to convince those shareholders in a shareholder meeting, general meeting, and then he takes the microphone and tries to, he's a impressive speech he gives, which is called "Greed is Good." There, you must listen to that one in your YouTube anyway, and there he says what? Greed is good. Because this greed cuts through the essence of capitalism and then makes you work hard and then brings the most efficiency of our humankind. And there, he never says, greed is good, baby. He said, greed is good for good reason or bad. And try to convince it this way. Okay? That's the Wall Street culture. We can see it. And after 2008 crisis, the voice pitch of the new CEOs, higher pitched. You see this one, right? Anyway, so that's what we find in our analysis. And then social signal processing, there's a whole discipline about it. the immersive, like the merging of these disciplines in engineering and social psychology and all these kind of things, right? Biologies and things like that. Voice pitch measuring, I do it with Pratt software. And then here is an interesting case that I show you between Bob Diamond and Anthony Jenkins of Barclays, the British bank, right? You see,
incentive compensation is important in this
can you hear this?
And in many businesses.
Right.
I think the debate is
this guy is a Barclays British Bank's
area.
CEO before the crisis. You see this pitch number 111. Mine is 120, by the way, but he's a lot lower. You can see it. And then he's from investment banking arm, and he became the CEO of the group, right? Very aggressive business he comes from. Then he got kicked out in 2012, all right? Taking the responsibility of those crises and scandals later on.
In essence, it's about
this is a new guy, a new CEO, Tony Jenkins.
And this is about
and his pitch is 130 hertz, right? You see it. And you can see that he tries to speak lower and lower, but below a certain level, he cannot go, right? That's something just born with the testosterone somehow, or given by the testosterone level, I guess. Right, so that's the thing, right?
That's the plan.
The essence of Barclays, things like that. Anyway, so that's that. Now, replaced with higher pitched CEOs or female CEOs. That's what we find. A lot less risk taking. The banking system became a lot more stable. Thanks to that effort, right? We were able to endure the COVID-19 crisis in 2020. At least until now. From now on, it's another story, right? Would there be hyperinflation or crisis again? We don't know it. But at least our banking system had a crisis earlier enough, and then we had a reasonably good measure to reduce the risk and then eliminate the risk-taking culture. So that's what I appreciate the efforts. And then when we talk about this political arena, the presidential election, here's an interesting case of 안철수, right? I respect him, but he was a popular candidate many years ago in presidential election. But one shortfall was that his voice pitch was too high. You see 190 hertz, right? Then, after failing one election, he realized, I should change my voice pitch. I want to get more vocal training, hopefully get a lower voice pitch. Was it successful? After training, the next election, his pitch was 180. Right, lower down by 10 hertz. A little bit lowering down, but compared to these guys over here, we're talking about 111, right? Or 130. Not going there, okay? Doesn't seem like it's a trainable baby, right? That's a difference. Yeah, you cannot get away with, right? That's the thing, okay? Voice pitch kind of data, it's, alternative data that you can collect. With phone banking system and then insurance subscription, all these kind of things, right? So that's what we find. And then the findings are after controlling for the empirical regularity that the voice pitch is lower when testosterone is higher, i.e. morning interviews, right? Lower voice pitch. And younger age, you sound lower. Higher when stress level is higher, live interviews. What if I make a mistake? Voice pitch gets higher. And then market index plunges. Bad time. Oh my God. Less confident. Oh my God. The voice pitch gets higher. And the CEO's language tone is negative. Bad information I have to tell. They will hate me. And then there's like a voice pitch goes up. Controlling for all these things, right? That's what we find. Why do we care? Deeper voice pitch of a person is associated with risk appetite, and it is important for option traders. If you are option traders, you care about the volatility of the stock returns. And M&A advisors, if you're looking for any possible buyers, go for more masculine voiced ones, right? Private equity managers and venture capital managers, you would care about it. And fintech as well, assessing the risk preference of the retail investors for loan pricing and personal bankruptcy prediction. this kind of data will be helpful for you. Yeah, voice recognition, voice analysis, and then HR consultants, and then recruitment and then pay consultants. You will need this kind of data. 10 years after financial crisis, maybe the masculinity is returning with Donald Trump repealing Dodd-Frank Act partially, maybe, but maybe not. Female leader study, yes. Angela Merkel, you see her over here, yes. And then is something we should study in the future as well. So very interesting research area open for you guys, right? And then facial expression is the next thing, right? Voice, pitch, face, and facial expressions. It goes together with lie detection idea, okay? Facial expression. I told you before, face is more informative than we previously thought, right? Non-verbal communication like body language and facial expression, a lot of things to, extract from there, okay? You can learn from it. So we can digitally quantify those facial expressions these days. We saw that in 3 pictures of the CEOs, right? Well, the motion picture like this that you see over here right now, 1 second, you have 30 different pictures of me. 30 frames, we say it, 30 frames, many pictures. Each frame you can feed into the machine, and then the machine gives you the facial expression scores, right? And then with that quantified expression scores, right, you can check, just like lie detection, okay? The situation is maybe crisis, but if you try to tell a lie, you will try to show more happy than your true situation. By that, your facial expression will be unstable because you're telling a lie and you know that you should not tell a lie. There's cognitive dissonance, makes you unstable over there. And then unnatural facial expression against your situation that you face. That could be a good clue of lie detection. And here comes Bear Stearns CEO. And obviously, Bear Stearns went, into huge crisis in 2008 in the beginning, right? And then this is the CNBC interviews that I captured. And then interview message was that we are doing okay. And then he was like showing happy face. If you look at the facial expression score like this, predominantly just happy, right? Over the initial 20 seconds. But the interview questions and then the atmosphere over here, and the setting was that the anchorman was questioning, you seem to be in trouble. Everybody is selling off your securities there, CDO or whatever, right? Bear Stearns CDOs. Are you in trouble? That was the situational question. And then he was like, I am doing fine. We are okay. Really? Okay. And the thing is, if you compare this facial expression score with other CEOs that were not in trouble, 20 seconds, right? Happiness was not that much prevalent. Okay? It was like, if you look at the Charles Schwab CEO, it's like, hi, neutral expression. Hi, I'm doing fine. And then happiness only when you say hi, and then neutral. Same thing for CME Group CEO Craig Donoghue. Okay, hi, how are you? And then happiness pops up a little bit, and then it's neutral. But this guy, happy all the way, something strange. And got busted in a week. Holy shit. So this kind of facial cues, right, that you capture in your motion picture can be informative. And then the researchers like 노준기 교수님 in Case Western University, 노준기, Professor No, N-O-H, in Case Western. He has a PhD thesis about facial expression and stock return. More negative facial expression, more negative stock return subsequently in a TV interview like CNBC. Okay? Mine is more like trying to go for lie detection. Isn't this a case study like this? Right? But his is more big data related study. Bad expression, negative expression, bad outcome in the stock market. Bad information is given. key for you, for your recruitment, right? You guys do higher view interviews or AI interviews these days. So you need to train yourself in front of camera. Number one rule, try to be natural as much as possible. Positive facial expressions, great. Confidence carried out. Train yourself, it's great. It's not telling lies, but just make it your habit, okay? Take it your natural so that you will not make mistake. And don't do cosmetic surgeries. Don't do cosmetic surgeries. 성형수술, 네. And then the thing is, the facial expression will be unnatural. I'm afraid. Your doctors, plastic surgery guys, surgeons will always say, pay me more money and I can make your facial expression natural. But I don't buy that. So watch out. Don't fall into that victim of the plastic surgery. Try to be natural as much as possible without any touching on your face, right? And then just naturally convey your confidence in the camera. That's it. Situationally coherent facial expression. That's the best thing. Okay? Embarrassing expression is okay, fine. Okay? What is this? It's okay. If you don't do it, that's a problem. Okay? Inconsistent expression. That's a problem. Anyway, so I have to get back to this one. Higher View or Midas IT in Korea. Nowadays, they are doing it with the AI interviews like this for many reasons. And then in the Korean recruiting environment is drastically changing. Until last year, right? Most of the Korean corporations, big corporations, were hiring the rookies, the college graduates, only once per year. How much of arrogance does one need to take to be recruiting those guys? Is just once per year. It was like a monopolistic market, like the hiring big 재벌, the corporations, like, we are giving you jobs, you poor guys, just once per year. And then you have no choice but to apply for one companies in our 재벌 group or other affiliates. No chance, right? Just one company only, because I'm lazy, you know what, right? And then you have to listen to it. That was, the position of these hiring companies. But the applying guys never had this kind of ideas. They got used to this environment so much ever since they were born, and their parents as well, like myself, right? So they have believed that this kind of public hiring once per year is just absolute fair measure, not knowing that there is a room for corruptions as well. Anyway, they are drastically changing into every time hiring, just like in the American system, right? Anytime, any position, multiple application, okay. And just do it yourself. And for that, they will receive tons of applications, right? Resumes for one position. The companies will receive 10,000 resumes, just like Unilever, right? Or P&G. The thing is, human beings cannot read those 10,000 resumes, right? They don't have time and they don't have resources to do that. But the machines can read it, so that the machine can screen it and then select a small number of them and then give some AI-based interviews for hundreds of them. And then the AI will give some scores of your facial expression depending on the situation that you face, and then the test results that they got, right? And then they will narrow down to a small number of candidates that's really fitting their criteria, okay? So for that part, some of you may complain that, there's a room for corruption. What if those privately hiring time by time, they will only select the ones that, they know closely. What if, right? But I say, yeah, there's a valid concern, but the other part is also, the historical way of recruiting has a room for corruption as well. When there is a flood in the country, right? 장마질 때, right? So flood in the weather, right? Flood in the river. The companies tend to spill out all those sewages together with this flood. They are hiring so many people, and then they stick into this, corrupted hirings together with it, so nobody notices it, right? That's this guy's case. So in any case, the corruption can happen. We have to sue them anyway. We have to be more vocal. I think that's the solution, that the only solution that you can do. We cannot stop this trend of going into more flexible hiring. Anytime they want, they have to hire any position. You have to get used to it, right? That's the thing. I have to shut my mouth up here. Go on, right? Why does it have to do with me? Should we go for plastic surgery? No, I said, right? You have to have a natural facial expression, okay? More confidence is needed, okay? Not less. Don't be 겸손해, right? Don't try to be polite. Show your swag, right? It's okay. If they're gonna not hire you, fine. Screw it. So be it. Be confident. So be it. So be it. 그러라고 해. If you don't want to hire me, don't hire. So be it. I move down to the next one. That's the confidence that you need to have. Anyway, so it's a difficult time to be a CEO. Every move you make, every breath you take is quantified. And we analyze that and apply it to all the people, right? To the extent that we can extend it, right? Apply it, right? So that's that. The next video, I'm going to talk about various alternative data, which is going to be a lot, interesting as well. So wait for that. Thanks for watching.